It's the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm, episode number 202. I am Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and welcome back to our podcast. We're talking Golden Gopher basketball this week as the Gopher men's team is set to resume Big Ten play with a game at Northwestern on Saturday afternoon. Minnesota's 8-5 on the year, winners of 4 of the last 5, and 1-1 in the Big Ten, including that big home win over Indiana earlier this month. This week, we're talking with Gopher big man on campus, Jaylen Crocker-Johnson. He leads the team in rebounding and does a little bit of everything for this team. Inside, outside, assists, scoring, he does it all. He came to Minnesota along with head coach Niko Medved from Colorado State. Jaylen Crocker-Johnson will be my guest this week. Our Go Gopher podcast is presented by alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're a business founder planning to exit your business, start by contacting Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Sunbelt serves more businesses up to $5 million in revenue than anyone, and True North M&A serves companies with revenues up to $150 million. Get a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation business valuation started today. Make the most of your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. Longtime Gopher sports supporter Cub is a proud sponsor of the Go Gopher podcast. In a hurry, don't worry. Cub delivers. Get fresh meat, produce, everyday essentials, and more delivered to your door. Cub is the official grocer of the Golden Gophers and proud to support Gopher athletics for over 20 years. Shop happy. The Go Gopher podcast is also sponsored by onX Maps. Find out how to download the onX Fish app for free by listening to the Go Gopher podcast. We're podcasting episode 202 from the Aquarius Home Services studio. We also want to thank Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union for their support of Golden Gopher student athletes. They've supplied a gift card today to Jaylen Crocker-Johnson for his appearance on this week's Go Gopher podcast. We invite you to subscribe or follow the Go Gopher podcast. It's free to do so. You can also go back and listen to previous Go Gopher podcast. Last episode, for example, we talked Golden Gopher football with Gopher guru Daniel House. This week, it's Gopher Hoops with Minnesota forward Jaylen Crocker-Johnson. He'll join me after this.
I'm Clay Geary, walk-on turned scholarship wide receiver for Gopher football.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we're part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at Sunbelt Business Advisors, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit TrueNorthEquityPartners.com.
Know what happy is? Veggies. Crunchy, crispy, colorful, seasonal, aromatic, juicy veggies. Produce at its freshest. Cub produce. Best produce, period. Guaranteed to make you happy or will replace it. No questions asked. Because good produce makes veggie lovers happy. Just remember, fresh, happy. Stale, limp, and wilted, not happy. You want to make a veggie lover happy? Shop Cub for produce and shop happy.
It's episode 202. We are talking Golden Gopher basketball with Gopher forward Jaylen Crocker-Johnson. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, let's talk about this basketball season to start. You guys have won 4 of 5. You had a really good month of December. How much fun are you having right now with this group?
We've been battling a lot of adversity. We obviously got guys out, but, we obviously making the most of what we got right now with the guys we got. So, definitely, getting in the rhythm, obviously heading into conference play. So, I feel like that's definitely a good sign already.
As we talk, it's Tuesday afternoon. Last night on Monday, you guys knocked off FDU. Niko told us in our post-game interview on the radio last night that about the first half. He said, we played awful. So how did you guys get that turned around, do you think, after halftime?
Definitely, we got punched in the mouth for sure, and definitely need to respond back. But I feel like just the little details that, we emphasize every day, offensively and defensively, and bringing that physicality, I feel like once we finally woke up and emphasized those things, it switched around.
You know your head coach probably better than anybody. You were with him, of course, last year as well at Colorado State. You followed him here. We did our coaches show today, and I tried to pull out of him a little bit about what he said at halftime, and he said that he doesn't always get angry like that, but I think angry was the term he used. So you've seen it before. He says he picks his spots, and he felt last night was a spot. So how does that one rank in terms of Nico trying to crack the whip, so to speak?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's probably his first time he's snapped like that this year. He's definitely done it last year, but definitely, I mean, I feel like it's good every time he snaps on us. I feel like we need that for sure, like a reality check. Like we need to like really lock in and do the things we're supposed to do. So I feel like that's good for us.
Yeah, and I know that when you and I talked at Media Day, I asked you, I think at the time, what drew you to come follow him here to Minnesota. And you said that you liked, I'm going to paraphrase a little, but I want you to further explain it, that you liked the fact that he challenged you to be better and that you like to be challenged that way, and that you felt that you in turn kind of challenged him too to be, to coach you up a little bit. So take me through that relationship and how it's evolved now, going on in the middle here of year 2 with him for you.
Basically, I mean, like, obviously he has a different system and terminology, stuff like that. So definitely, and you got to be in shape if you want to run his offense and do the things he wants. So like definitely just taking a big margin of getting in game shape for sure. And doing his offense and defense at a high level of intensity, like for long periods of time. He's going to push us to high standards. He wants us to continue to grow and be a better place in that aspect as well. So I just like the fact that he's not going to, no matter how good we get, he's not going to let off on us at all.
And you, as the only guy that followed him up here and the only guy that had played for him in the past, all the way back to June now, take me through what it's been like to kind of, roll these guys in, the rest of the group, understanding what the expectation should be, what practice is like. And I suppose early it was a challenge for you, and now it looks like you guys are all getting on the same page at the right time.
Yeah, definitely. But, I mean, the first 2 to 3 weeks, you could definitely tell it was a good group of guys that definitely wanted to come in and, get better, learn. It was high energy every day and everything. So I feel like that kind of made it easier on my behalf. All it took was like more of the terminology and aspect for me, and setting the tone for me and for the team, but just by like starting off during drills, like the way it's supposed to look, how it's supposed to be done and stuff like that.
You guys have come a long way too, right? I mean, even when you consider back to the trip to California, injuries certainly were a factor. And now you're kind of learning new, kind of the new roles and how much minutes and all of that. Progress, though, is pretty apparent. I thought December looked like, just watching you guys, that there were some things that all of a sudden it looked like, oh, this is how it goes. Oh, this is how you play efficient. Oh, here, shots are starting to fall because we're following the plan.
Yeah, for sure. Just basically what we do every day. We work on it every day, just like, different drills and everything that's going to relate to the game and everything, just working on simple details. We watch a lot of film over and everything. And obviously playing with different lineups because we got guys out. So just learning, personnel-wise, putting the ball in players' good spots, not their weaknesses. So just learning, a lot more about each other as the season goes on.
Just in observing and watching this team now, obviously, Isaac is the point guard. He's the guy that kind of runs the show. But once the offense gets set, a lot falls on your plate as you're kind of the guy at the top. You have to make decisions, and I'm not going to pretend I know what all those decisions are, but take me through the responsibility that you have now offensively as the guy. When you get the ball, much of the offense runs through you at the top of the key, which is a little unique for a big, right? Mm-hmm. But you can shoot the three, you can drive, you obviously have assist numbers, and the challenge of that, almost a quarterback out there.
Yeah, I mean, basically, taking control of the offense, like it's playing into your pace and everything. Obviously, the guards are doing a lot, but, mostly the ball's in my hands. I'm setting screens, trying to set players up and stuff like that. So, I mean, I feel like the 5-man is just as important as the point guard because we're trying to initiate offense, especially when we got the ball and the guards are trying to, get to their actions and get to their sweet spots and stuff like that. So.
The thing that has struck me, too, is the patience that you show. Like, there's never a hurried motion. Everything seems purposeful. How much learning did that take to get to the point where you don't have to – you want to be fast, but you don't want to be rushed, right?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, just going in my second year at MedVet, the first year I was definitely, rushed and everything, just trying to, know the speed of the offense and everything. And then, coming back year 2, you finally realize how much time you really got on the clock and how much more actions you could run, in that little short time span.
When you think about how this has gone, oftentimes, look, when a guy from the Mountain West moves to the Big Ten, there's this transition. Sometimes the numbers trail off, but I look at your numbers from last year. You had a great year. Your numbers have picked up. More rebounds, more points, more assists, more minutes. Did you anticipate that you would take that step? I mean, certainly if all had stayed the same, you were going to take a step at Colorado State from sophomore to junior year. But, you're stepping up and the progress in your game personally, how pleased are you with that part of it?
I mean, definitely every year I want to improve. I don't want to, take a step back unless it's, God forsaken, no injuries. But, obviously I want to keep improving. Coach is going to, keep me to improvement. He's going to put me in the best spots to, be successful for myself and my team, so I just try to, improve every year.
You fill the stat sheet too. You shoot from three, you can drive, you can post up. We talked about the assist. You've got several double-doubles now. How much pride do you take in that part of the game that you're one of those stat stuffers?
I really take it as, doing what I can for my team because, obviously I got to do a lot. We got guys that, got the depth, so I just do what I can for the team. If that's going to get, 10 to 15 rebounds or, scoring for us like Kay was out, like me and Bobby had to put some points on the board, because he's one of our leading scorers. So, just certain things like that, just doing what I can for the team no matter what it is.
Too, I think this sometimes the teams that maybe when stuff isn't going exactly how you had hoped, last night, let's say, for example, against FDU, not a lot of shots were falling except yours. You hit 3 early threes, which, I'm not saying that they would have run away with the game or whatever, but those are big buckets, right? All of a sudden now you get 9 points in 3 possessions, and then you hit another one in the second half. You mentioned Bobby as well, and for you and Bobby for that matter, this is true with everybody. You wind your way through a season, and you're going to have maybe a couple of games where the shot's not falling, but right now you're on a 6 or 7 game stretch. You're feeling really good. It looks like from distance.
Yeah, definitely. Beginning of the season, the shot wasn't falling. Everything wasn't trying to really beat myself up on it. Put countless hours in the gym after practice, before practice, just staying to my work, coaching knowledge of the day, how I just been, staying to my work, just keep getting shots up, because, that he trusts me to shoot the ball. So, just really just taking pride and, getting those extra reps in.
Yeah, and how does that, confidence is so important, right, to maintain that even if the shot for a game or two doesn't fall, to know that, look, I've played this game my whole life, right? It'll come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel like it was an early shooting slump for me, obviously, but just definitely trying to, not lose that confidence, because, I was losing confidence at first, but, my credit to my teammates, my GAs, coaches, they kept telling me of shooting me. They believe in me. They trust me with the ball in my hands to shoot it. So, definitely just take my time, just shoot the shot.
Yeah, and they're falling for sure. As we now are getting ready to resume Big Ten play, you guys got the big win against Indiana in conference play. At Purdue, played in the first half a really good game. That Purdue team's pretty darn good, obviously, and they got on a roll early in that second half. But you've got a couple of those games under your belt now. You've been through the rigors of the Mountain West. I think it's all relative, right? I mean, the Mountain West is a tough league. You know what that's about. It's going to be the same. It's a step up, but everybody experiences it. So how excited are you now to get into what is now a grind here from basically January to March?
Definitely, very excited. Coming here, you always wanted to, watching TV, seeing these big games in the Big Ten, SEC, and stuff like that. So I definitely always want to be a part of that. So definitely, excited for this long stretch of Big Ten games.
Do you have in your mind, as you get this, conference slate restarted, where, because you haven't seen most of these teams other than in film, where can this team go? What do you think how good can you guys be now as you're kind of finding your way here with really a 7-man rotation?
Yeah, Coach emphasizes every day, he doesn't, we don't even know, how good we could be, and we still got a lot more time to improve because, from here now to, February 1st, there's a lot more improvement we can do from so on and so on. So, just definitely take one game at a time, take one practice at a time, just get better every day, and then you'll see what it is from a month to now.
What was that Indiana win like for you guys?
Yeah, it was definitely a fun experience. Coach made his first Big Ten win, our first Big Ten win. I heard the history between us and IU. We haven't beat them in a minute, so definitely bringing some life and joy back to the barn. That was definitely fun hearing the place rocking for real.
Have you been part of a court rush? Did they rush the court at CSU at all?
No, that was actually my first court rush, so that was definitely a fun experience.
Yeah, were you expecting it? Did you know it was coming?
I really didn't, but the fans was into the game and stuff like that, so I seen them running out, so it was definitely a fun experience.
And those are all experiences that but one of the new buzzwords in sports is stacking experiences, right? You stack a couple of good games together, and then you're off to the races. So for you and Coach Medved and some of the coaching staff last year, you're trying to stack what was a really good year. You guys had one point an 11-game winning streak. You're in the NCAA tournament. What was that experience like for you and your teammates last year?
I feel like we was in Logan. We played Utah State. We got our butts kicked, and that definitely flipped the switch in everybody. We all saw in our faces that if we want to do the goals we said we had to do, we had to win out and everything. So we really just took time. I feel like the month of December heading into January, we got definitely a lot better in that aspect and everything. So really just up the intensity a lot more if we really want to reach our goals.
Do you see some similarities with what you guys have kind of done here in mid to late December with this group?
Yeah, from Palm Springs to now, I definitely see a different change and jump. We definitely have started playing better, even though it hasn't been our best. But, there's obviously a lot more room for growth, but I definitely see a bigger change.
This program hasn't been to the tournament for a minute as well. What was that experience like when you walk on the floor? It's the NCAA tournament. I'm sure you grew up thinking about playing. Was it Memphis, I think, in the opening round? What was that like when you step foot on the floor and I'm in the big dance?
Yeah, definitely the biggest stage I've ever played on, so seeing a bunch of other people, different schools out there all playing, to win something big, it's definitely a fun experience, playing at a high level, good scenery, good experience, it's definitely fun. And then, when we finally realized that we had that W in the bag, just seeing a bunch of people, cheer for us, that was running for us because, we was the underdogs back then. So, just seeing everybody, root for us, that was definitely a good feeling.
Then you play a really good Maryland team, and you're right there, in fact, leading, right? And they hit that last shot. What was that emotion like to know what you accomplished, but to have maybe also juxtapose that with the disappointment that you're within a second of moving to weekend number 2?
Yeah, definitely. Soon as I seen that shot get down, a lot of sad, high emotions, obviously, but back in my mind, I was like, I gotta get back here again. That's one of a lifetime experience because anything could happen in March. So we was 1 second away from one shot away from the Sweet 16. So anything could happen. So definitely. Especially with, Minnesota, you want to try to do something big, with a, new coach, new standards, new expectations from everybody. So, really trying to, come out the gate, setting a new tone for the school.
You are part of, a group of athletes now in your generation that are able to take advantage of a lot of opportunity. You start your career at Little Rock, a year there. Now it's to Colorado State, and now it's Minnesota for a couple of years here, as you mentioned, to try to build. What has that college career been like to take advantage? What was Little Rock like coming out of high school, and kind of take me through that process?
Coach Darryl Walker, he's a great coach. I was fitting in well and everything. Then had an injury. I broke my foot and everything in the summer, so I was out for 6 to 8 weeks. And then I had to come back. I knew for a fact I was gonna play because my foot was feeling great. And then, our first game, our starting big man breaks his finger. So, I definitely had to, got jumped into the fire right away. I wasn't in no rhythm or anything. So, it definitely, I just had to let my game, develop over the time, just, trying to get back in that rhythm and everything. But, we started off rough, and then next, we going on a little winning streak. We do great in conference. We end up in the regular season conference. And then, we get all the way to the championship in OVC. We lose a game, there's another chance I could have went to March Madness, but, just seeing those teams, that experience from now, and then, going to CSU, I was like, I want to go to March Madness, so, I knew if I wanted to get to that thing, it was either I'm about to, win that Mountain West championship or we want to, have a great resume. So, in our circumstances, we had to win that championship. So I knew, I was one game away from getting that, big ticket, so I wanted to get that again.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let me talk real quick about a sponsor of ours, Onyx Fish from Onyx Maps. The weather cold outside, the ice is frozen, and you can get on the ice and do some ice fishing. And when you do, let the Onyx Fish app help you find the next best bite. The Fish app offers the most comprehensive fishing tool for increasing your success. You can use the Fish app to find new places to fish. You can sort by lake, species, abundance, trophy, and keeper potential. That is. Onyx Fish also shows you hot spots, lake by lake regulations, private and public land ownership info, and more. Right now, download the Onyx Fish app on the App Store or go online, onyxmaps.com/fish, to get more info on the app that's changing the game on the water, and you can try it free for 7 days. Do you fish?
I've fished a few times, man. Seriously.
Yeah, that's enough. A couple times. I got you. San Antonio, Texas is your home city. What's this week like for you when you see 8 inches of snow outside from a kid from Texas?
Definitely. I mean, the snow is really not the problem for me. It's really like when it's windy and, it's close to the negative. So I feel like when it's not windy and it's 20s and stuff in that area, I'll be fine.
You'll be all right?
Yeah. I've adjusted.
All right. Well, very good. We don't want to lose you. We want to keep you here, that's for sure. I was doing a little reading on you. I saw in one article said that football was actually maybe your first love, youth-wise. Take me through football and how long you played that. I think your roommate, when we had Langston on, he said the same thing, that he thought he was going to be an NFL player growing up.
Yeah, so definitely, when I was in elementary going up to middle school, I was playing a lot of football and everything, and that Typha League and stuff like that. So definitely, I wanted to, pursue it. In middle school, I was doing good in middle school, and then got up to high school. It was either I'm going to stick to one sport, it's either football or basketball. And then I started to take basketball a lot more serious when it comes to 7th and 8th grade going to high school. So I was I'm going to stick with basketball. Yeah. But football was definitely it was a fun sport for sure.
You can't live in Texas and not play football for a while, right?
Yeah, it was a fun sport for
How
sure.
crazy is it in Texas football-wise?
It's definitely crazy, especially 6A, that, and 5A, and those areas is definitely good sports.
You are a Spurs fan or no?
Yeah. I like the Spurs.
Tim Duncan, who was your guy growing up, or did you have
I like the when Kawhi, his era, the prime crowd, I like that.
Yeah. Who was he your favorite guy then, or do you have an NBA guy you follow now?
I really like the prime Russ for sure. I was going to say there's a team, but there's a different lot of guys I like to watch for sure.
I think the Spurs actually are coming to town here in a couple of weeks. Do you ever get a chance to,
I watched them play back home against OKC, but I haven't got a chance to, check them out against the Timberwolves yet. But I'll definitely try to, go see that.
Yeah, no doubt. You want to play professional basketball. You've been around guys who have, including your brother. Take me through your relationship with your brother.
Yeah, definitely. My brother's probably the reason why I really wanted to start getting into basketball, because I was 4 or 5 years old, and then he's playing at Oklahoma with Blake Griffin. They have a great team going to the Final Four and stuff like that. So definitely seeing the impact he made on people, just crowd cheering for him and stuff like that. I definitely wanted to be a part of that. Meeting his teammates and stuff like that. It just looked like all great scenery and everything, and then seeing him. He had a chance to play in the league and everything, but obviously, due to injuries, that messed him up pretty bad. So he went to go, take his career over to overseas, had a great 13, 14 years of overseas work. So, definitely, he showed me, a life that I wanted to live for sure. So next thing you know, he turned out to be my trainer back home. He always worked me out. He's going to push me, stuff like that. So he's really, been more not just a brother, but a mentor, father figure, stuff in that aspects too. So he's definitely been a big part of my life.
Yeah, your brother Tony played, as you mentioned, at Oklahoma with Jeff Capel as the coach, and then you mentioned the success they had, Blake Griffin. And there's an age difference, right? So you're 4 or 5 years old when they're going to the Elite Eight. Were you at those games? Did you attend?
Nah, I had to get those on the TV.
You watch on TV?
I didn't get a chance to go experience that up close, but I definitely when they play A&M and Texas and stuff like that. We went to a few Oklahoma games, but other than that, every time they came to Texas, we'll go watch them.
Yeah. Play. Is he retired now from pro?
Yeah, he's retired. He's now in coaching.
Yeah. So take me through what, you mentioned the inspiration and the motivation and now even some training. When did he kind of start really getting involved in terms of knowing that you can be a high-level player?
I'll say eighth grade going to my freshman year of high school, because I hit a lot, like 2 big growth spurts and everything. And then next thing you know, I had a good freshman year. And then from freshman year to sophomore year, that's when, like, things really started to turn on and, like, start to, like, get serious for real. So definitely we started, like, getting more intense on the workouts and everything.
Did you have a growth spurt at some point that helped kind of steer you to basketball as well, or were you always kind of taller for your age?
Yeah, I was pretty tall for my age always, but then I think I got to like 6'3" to 6'5.5", and after that, it was all in middle school, and then I finally hit 6'7" my freshman year, and so then like it was just like year after year.
Yeah, you wear number 5 here because that was your brother's number, right?
Yeah, correct.
8 last year because that was his number overseas,
yeah.
And somebody else had 5 at Colorado State. But for the most part, you guys have shared the same number, 5 or 8, over the years. Has he been up to see you play here yet?
Not yet. He said he's definitely going to try to catch a home game. He's going to try. I know he will pop out to the conference tournament, but obviously right now he's just coaching and busy. But he's watching the games online all the time.
Yeah, you guys will text or talk or FaceTime or whatever to stay in touch.
For sure.
Another guy that has played pro ball that you can look at in terms of getting info is your teammate last year, Nick Clifford, playing with the Kings, right? I think.
Yeah,
how much you staying in touch with him, and what's he kind of told you about pro ball?
Yeah, definitely. I've been to 2 of his games when they played the Timberwolves. I've been to 2 of those, and like he's talked to me like it's definitely different. 82 games. You're barely practicing. It's like really like you gotta like players that don't play like you gotta lift and get a whole like full workout in after the game like right after. So it's definitely different. Like the recovery time, like you barely get any days off. Like it's constant like mental stuff and stuff like that. So definitely like just seeing like the serious part, like the job area, like what you got to do for like your team and everything is definitely different from college.
Yeah. And as you now look, you're a junior, you've got another year of basketball. Are you at a point too now where you get advice from your teammate, you get advice from your brother? Maybe there's some other advisors or some other folks that you talk to?
Yeah, I definitely got a big circle, a lot of people that cares about me. So definitely, people going say they part on like what they think is best for me and everything. And obviously, I'll take any advice I can because, everyone's, wants the best for me. And obviously, so, just take the time, talk to my family, friends, just hear them out. But, yeah, I got a lot of people that, cares.
You got some guys on this team, too. You think of Cade Tyson, right? He is leading the league now in scoring. He got in foul trouble last night. You guys stepped up. But that's another guy. His brother is playing in the NBA, so there's some connections there, too. What have you seen from Cade Tyson? I suppose you didn't even know who Cade Tyson was until June, and now all of a sudden he's playing next to you at a high level.
Yeah, definitely what stood out to me is just his work ethic. He's in the gym every day, putting in countless work. He's almost like the first one in the gym every time. I'll walk into the gym. I already see him getting shots and everything. So definitely his work ethic and, his energy definitely stood out to me for sure.
What does it say to, and how can it help a team when the best scoring player on the team, the guy that averages the most points, is the guy that also is first in the gym? And I suppose that motivates everyone. Like, hey, if he's doing it, I'm getting in the gym early too.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone gets in the gym, gets the extra work in and everything. But, definitely – like I said, I try to lead by example. He leads by example, but, just using our voice and stuff like that, just like he's going to tell everyone to get in the gym and stuff like that. But I feel like it's good for everyone, like, to just go get the extra work in.
We mentioned that it's really now kind of a 7-man rotation. I think coaches would prefer to have 8, 9 guys and maybe a 10 or 11-man bench. But when it is what it is there in kind of a weird way, assuming that you stay out of foul trouble and those things, that playing with just a base group where this guy's on the floor with me 35, 36 minutes, you start to get to know each other, I think, better. Can there be some benefit to that if you guys can all stay out of foul trouble and stay in shape to run that much?
Yeah, for sure, because obviously, we're getting better as a group overall, learning each other's game, stuff like that, putting each other in the right spot. So definitely, obviously want to stay out of foul trouble and stuff like that. But, if we put in the countless work, we gonna know each other's game and stuff like that. Coach is gonna put good in plays for us, to run. So I feel like that's a good part of us.
How big is this playbook? Like I watch some of these shoot-arounds and practices, and there's just he's yelling names, and Aaron Katzum is writing stuff. And don't give away the whole playbook or anything, but they're writing names on a dry erase board. Like, how much work do you guys have to put in to make sure you're sharp with a bunch of plays?
Man, every day, because the playbook's still not done growing. Like, we got some more plays we could probably throw in by tomorrow or next week or the next month. Like, we still got a lot more plays, but we work at it every day. Because obviously Coach Medved, he's a good coach. He knows how to draw up something good. So we gonna have to memorize those and use them whenever we're ready.
And for you, how was it early? Because you were the only guy that knew all the plays, so you're probably like the extra coach on the court, right?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely took some time. It would get frustrating at times because it'd be the simple stuff like that they can't get right. But obviously, I was just like them. So like, it definitely was new. So Coach Medved just pulled me to the side. Just gonna calm me down. Like, he knows what he's doing. Like, cause obviously we made a lot more progression than we did last year. So like, we was in a farther step than we was. So I just felt like just take my time with it. Just lead by example, by voice, do what I can to help our guys, get the offense and terminology down.
What do you do in your free time? What do you like to do when it's not basketball or classwork or whatever?
See, me, I'm more of like, I cherish my friendships. So like, I'll just hop on the phone with my bros, talk to them for a little bit, or I'll play the game, sleep, watch some Netflix, stuff like that.
Yeah. Are you into anything on Netflix now? Any recommendations?
There's this new show that's called 61 Street. I haven't really got into it yet, but I know I do want to start watching it.
That's next on your list.
Yeah.
I have not been in San Antonio in a long time. I went when I was younger than you are now for a church youth thing when I was young. Loved it. Have not been back. I've always put it on the list to get back. So if I get back, or if anyone listening says, hey, we're going to San Antonio, I remember the Riverwalk was amazing. What are some recommendations for folks visiting San Antonio, Texas?
Yeah, I definitely feel like, downtown and the Riverwalk's probably the best area because, got a lot of like grown, good little food spots and, like stuff you can go out on a date at. Fun area. There's like a bunch of arcade stuff downtown. There's a lot of stuff to do down there. I mean, I haven't been downtown in a minute, but I know there's a lot of good stuff down there.
So I'll put you on a little bit of a spot here. Jordan Murphy is one of the all-time great players here. All-time leading rebounder, second leading scorer. He's from San Antonio. Mm-hmm. Were you aware of him at all, being from San Antonio growing up, that he was putting his mark here at Minnesota?
No, I didn't really know like a bunch of like older guys, coming like doing great things and stuff like that. I was really more to myself growing up.
Yeah.
But when I got on my visit here, I heard a lot of good things about him.
Yeah, great player, no doubt about it. And you're following in his footsteps a little as kind of that all-around guy that can rebound and score and do everything. And it's been fun. We'll let you get back to it. Go, get on that show now. This will give you a chance, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, very good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
He is Jaylen Crocker-Johnson. It's episode 202, the Go Gopher Podcast. My thanks to Golden Gopher basketball player Jaylen Crocker-Johnson for joining me on this week's Go Gopher Podcast and for letting us get to know him a little bit better. I hope you enjoyed listening to our conversation as much as I enjoyed being a part of it. Episode number 202 is presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're buying or selling a business, visit sunbeltminnesota.com or TNMA.com. Cub is a proud supporter of Gopher Athletics for more than 20 years and a proud sponsor of the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm. Cub, bigger savings on the items you love. Shop happy. And Onyx Fish also sponsors our show. Happy fishing from Onyx Maps. Again, I'd invite you to listen to past podcasts, and please right now click that subscribe button or the follow button to the Go Gopher Podcast. It's free to follow or free to subscribe and free to listen at any time. And please share the link to the podcast with others so they can subscribe and listen as well. And if you enjoy the podcast, please let us know with some positive feedback on your social media channels. We'll talk again next week.
Know what the happiest bird is? Chicken. Cub fried chicken. Wait, let me rephrase that. Know what bird makes people happiest? Cub fried chicken. Crispy, crunchy, juicy, perfectly seasoned. It's the kind of chicken that disappears faster than you can say, 8-piece, please. Or, let's be real, maybe 12-piece. Because when it comes to fried chicken, more just means more happy. So if you're shopping chicken, shop Cub Fried Chicken and shop happy.